Welcome, everybody, to our July 2025 Animal Reiki Talk. I'm Kathleen Prasad. I will be your guide tonight, and welcome to our discussion of the Let Animals Lead method of Animal Reiki. I'm really excited for you guys to be here tonight because our theme this month is grounding ourselves in compassion using the Let Animals Lead method. And probably a lot of you are empaths, perhaps, as I am. And so this can be a real gift in our practice. It can also be a really big challenge. And so I want to talk this month about how grounding ourselves in compassion through our daily meditation animal Reiki practice, which builds mindfulness and also helps us to deepen our understanding of the Reiki precepts, how this can help us stay steady, present, and empowered as we support the animals who need us most. So I thought I would kind of start with what the word compassion means, since what does it mean to ground in compassion? Well, let's think about what compassion is, first of all. So compassion means sympathetic consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it. And so we know the animal Reiki is a healing practice. And so the very purpose and heart of our practice is helping to alleviate the suffering of others and having that consciousness of it. So just the very nature of what we do is completely centered around compassion. And so I guess what I want to talk about tonight is all of the tools, techniques, and tips that we have in our Animal Reiki toolbox that can help us come back to compassion when it may be difficult. Things in life may pull us away from the compassion so that we can bring ourselves back. Because ultimately, it's that compassionate heart and the vibration that comes from that makes an energetic space that animals feel safe and comfortable to connect with. And of course, that is our goal so that we can help them when they're not feeling well. So it's not always easy to be compassionate. And when I think of compassion and how we apply it as Animal Reiki practitioners, I look to the Reiki precept, be compassionate to yourself and others. And I think this is a balance that a lot of people don't think about. And I notice in my level 1 classes, when we focus, we do 1 week in level 1 where we really focus on the Reiki precepts as a self-practice. And it's funny because a lot of students say, well, it's really easy for me to be compassionate to animals, but it's really hard for me to be compassionate to myself. And I feel uncomfortable being compassionate to myself, or it's not natural. I always put myself last. So we have a lot of discussions like this in level 1 classes. And I find it so fascinating because if we think of compassion as an energy in our life, and then we think about the 2 kinds of compassion we can have for ourselves and for others, we can see that if we leave ourselves out of that mix, we're creating an imbalance in our compassion sort of, space that we're creating. We want to bring balance back to that space. And so I want you to really think about for yourself, are you being compassionate to yourself? I know everybody who's here or who's listening that you are compassionate to animals, and that's why you're interested in Animal Reiki, because that really is the essence of what we do. So I know that part. But the part that might be missing, or maybe that's hard for you, could be the self-compassion. And so that's a real area to work on, isn't it? Because if we can bring more balance in, compassionate for ourselves and for others, then actually we have more to offer. And our compassion, the vibration and energy of our compassion becomes stronger because it is more healthy and it is more in balance. So the Reiki precept is pointing us in this direction. I think there's other things besides how difficult it is to be compassionate to ourselves. There's other things that can get in the way also of our compassion in our Animal Reiki practice. And I think some of these things, common things, are fears and worry that we have around our animal and what is going on with them. It could be judgments that we have about ourselves or others in the situation, the healing situation with animals. Also, we may find ourselves avoiding difficult situations, having difficulty leaning into a really tough health situation. And we might even find ourselves falling into pity, which is very different than compassion. And it's actually a very draining energy that leads to compassion fatigue and burnout. It's- There's another thing that often that I find students worry about, and I think prevents them from really stepping into their compassionate soul. And that is an idea I've heard many times. Well, I don't have the talent to be an animal Reiki practitioner. And so they kind of give up. And so I just want to say, first of all, I think this is related to the idea of self compassion. But second of all, I want to say that animal Reiki is not about talent, it's about diligent practice. And that's what we're really going to talk about today. All of the tools that you have to help you ground yourself in compassion and radiate that compassionate healing space to animals. It all, you have all of these tools. They're all based in meditation, and meditation is a practice. We have to do that every single day, and that is what helps make this method effective. It's not a special talent, gift, or magic. It is basically rebuilding your energy field to be one that is centered, that is balanced, that is grounded, that is full of peacefulness and calm and harmony and all those good things that can only happen through practice. And we'll talk a little bit more about why that is, because we do have so many challenges as human beings to stay in a good space. And again, that brings us back to why we have to really, really practice. So I think that another thing that is difficult is when we worry about outcome of a situation, we might feel like, what if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to? And this is something that, again, diligent practice helps us get more solid and confident in what we're doing. And what I've learned about animal Reiki over the years, in the beginning, I was very outcome based, because in the very beginning, I had so many positive responses and the animals were just getting better and getting better and getting better. I thought, oh, this is magic and it always works out great. And then as I got more experience, I noticed, oh, some of the animals, it's their time and they're passing away. Or sometimes they get a diagnosis and they don't get better. So we have to offer hospice care. And then, of course, I connected with Brighthaven Animal Hospice for many years as well. And so I learned a lot about the hospice process with animals who live with chronic ailments and special needs. And I learned through those experiences, and I'm very grateful to Gail Pope and Brighthaven for everything I've learned from them and their philosophy, that the more we let go of outcome and like, oh, I'm here to fix something, and the more we realize that it's possible to find healing in this moment. And how what does that look like? If it's not a cure, what is healing? Healing is peace. Healing is harmony. Healing is compassion. For example, offering compassion to a shelter animal who has never felt love from a human being, and you are the first one. That is healing. So these kinds of experiences with shelter animals and Brighthaven sanctuary animals help me to learn to let go of outcome and see a real higher purpose in what I was doing. Not only just a higher purpose, and that purpose of being a compassionate presence and understanding the healing power of that in itself, but also learning to see things from more of like a wider view. Sometimes I think about an eagle flying overhead and how eagles can kind of see everything and they can hone in and focus in on things. And when we use our Reiki eyes, we learn to sort of fly above all of the emotions and scariness and worry and fear of the situation, fly above it and look down and see the beautiful light, the beautiful spirit of the animals. And then we can realize, okay, this is my purpose. I can focus in on the light of the animal in this difficult situation. I can be a mirror to them and mirror back that light. You are whole. You are perfect. All is well in that difficult moment. And I think sometimes really honing in, like an eagle, on that purpose can help us to rise above the emotion, which might be pulling at us. And that really is part of what helps us stand solid and ground in compassion, is letting go of what's wrong. That's a big piece of it. So no matter what of these, any of these challenges that I've been talking about might sound familiar to you, whichever one, the remedy is the same. The remedy is use your meditation tools that you've learned in Animal Reiki to break through each of these barriers. And when we break through, what we're doing is we're paving a way forward for healing, not only for the animals, but also for ourselves. And, even for humans along the way on our journey as well. So, there are a lot of practices in Animal Reiki that I recommend to ground ourselves in compassion. One of them is a hands on self healing that we learn. Another one is to allow the animals to be your guides back to a centered, compassionate place, because animals actually teach us the precepts. And one way the animals teach us the precepts is by embodying them. So, have you ever had an animal that embodies letting go of anger, letting go of worry, being grateful, being authentic to true to their way in their being compassionate? Have you ever seen an animal that embodies those qualities? Right? I have. Those animals are inspirational teachers. They literally light the way to what the Reiki precepts are talking about. And the Reiki precepts are guides towards a healing path in life. And of course, again, the last precept is be compassionate to yourself and others. So even the Reiki precepts are grounded in compassion. So if we follow these animal models, we can find our way through to compassion. But what about the animals who aren't embodying these at the moment? And unfortunately, usually that's due to often humans either abuse, neglect, a combination, abandonment, who knows, whatever they've gone through. Usually has something to do with human beings. But anyway, maybe we adopt an animal, we rescue a dog or rescue a cat. Maybe we volunteer at a sanctuary with animals from very difficult backgrounds. And so maybe some of the animals are able to embody the precepts despite what they've been through. That's very inspiring. But maybe some of the animals are displaying things like aggression or tremendous fear. That's what I see a lot in shelter animals, is just incredible anxiety and fear. And so how are animals teaching us the precepts in those moments, right? Well, it's a little more subtle, but so let's say you see an animal, cat or a dog at a shelter who's shaking in fear and just really afraid. So in that moment, we have compassion. Means that we are empathetic to what they're feeling, and we have a desire to alleviate that suffering, right? So, what do we do in that moment? Let's see, an animal's really scared and really fearful. Well, if I also start to get scared and fearful, is it going to help the animal? No. But what if I can embody the precepts in that moment and create a feeling and an energy of letting go of fear, of confidence, of safety, of gratitude, of compassion? The animals feel the energy we radiate when we're with them. So what if I embody all the precepts? They now have a sanctuary in us to come forward into our energy and bask in that vibration if they choose to. Again, this is all based on the animal choice and animal agency. They can decide to step in or decide not to. So again, we have to let go of our expectations about that, hopefully. But when animals are having difficulty, if we can show them the way. So sometimes animals light the way for us. And with animal Reiki, sometimes we can light the way for animals. And so we really help each other and we heal each other. So the Reiki precepts to me are such an amazing tool and technique that we have. The other technique, probably my very favorite go-to technique for our meditation practice in Animal Reiki, is the healing space meditation. And this is because this practice, and I'm going to do it with you guys tonight, but this practice actually really teaches us how to hold space with animals. And that's what I often talk about when I talk about Animal Reiki. I say, we're holding a healing space. Or I say, we're being Reiki with animals, not doing Reiki to animals. And so people often say, well, what does that mean? And the healing space meditation, it's the first meditation practice that I teach in the level 1 class to help students begin learning how to hold an empowered space of healing for animals. And it combines a Japanese technique called Joshin Kokyoho with a deep honoring of animals as teachers and a specific mental intention and openness of heart to engender trust and comfort in the animals that we're sharing space with. Now, the thing I love about the Joshin Kokyoho breath is it centers around your lower belly, your hara in Japanese. And this is the center of your energy being and also the center of your physical being. This is where you are connected to the earth and to grounding. And so today we're talking about grounding in compassion. So first we want to get grounded in our physical and energetic being, right? And then we can begin to radiate that compassion. Now, this can be very challenging. A lot of students, when they first learn how to breathe, and part of this breath is breathing in. You can imagine the light coming in through your crown as you breathe in, filling your body with light all the way down to the hara, the lower belly. So, and a lot of people say, oh, I feel like my breath only goes to here, or I never breathe, or when I notice when I'm worried, I really stop breathing. So one of the things I love about this practice is it helps you get more mindful about your breath. How do you breathe? Does your breathing change when you feel angry? Does your breathing change when you feel worried? What about when you feel really relaxed and happy? How are you breathing? So you start to notice your breath. And this technique has a very intentional breath. And um, here, let's do this a couple times together. And I want you to feel the power of this intentional breath, because it literally will calm your nervous system physically. This is before we even get into the meditation, just doing this breath a couple times. So we're going to breathe in through the nose. Imagine that breath is like a beautiful light coming in and going, filling your body all the way to the hara. And then we're going to exhale out our mouth and imagine that light expands through your skin into the space around you as you exhale, like a bubble of light. Okay, so let's try it a couple times, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, and visualizing that light coming in and going out. One more time. Now, you only just did 2 breaths, but do you feel how in touch that has helped you get just in 2 breaths? And this also is a technique that's not taught as a Reiki technique. It's taught as an anti-anxiety technique to help people soothe their nervous system. So Joshin Kokyoho, it intersects with other practices in a way that helps create calm and peacefulness within yourself. Even doing that twice, you can feel, okay, I'm more centered, I'm more present in my body, and I feel more relaxed. Now remember, animals feel our energy so strongly, And that's why our animal Reiki practice is all about getting more mindful about where we are and bringing our energy back to a space of compassion, grounding ourselves in that compassion. The other thing I really love, besides this just calming our nervous system technique, the other thing I love about this special breathing meditation is it helps us bring our focus inward, right? So we imagine the lights coming in to the hara and then radiating out and coming in, radiating out. So we keep bringing the energy in. And I like to think of it this way. It's a great metaphor for what we actually need to do with all of our thoughts and emotions. As human beings, we're very distracted. We're always multitasking. We probably are up and down on the roller coaster of emotions, right? And so everything is scattered energetically in our mind, in our thoughts, in our heart, in our emotions. We scatter everything and we think about a million things and we're go, 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 and it's all over the place, right? Well, this practice brings all of that energy back to us. I gather my energy back here and to my center. And then I'm scattered and I use my breath to gather my energy and I'm centered. So it's a great metaphor for what we really need to do with all of that chaos in our energy. Ultimately, that's how it feels to animals. When we start to go inward and gather that energy and calm and ground ourselves in that energy, then our heart is able to soften and open and offer this beautiful space of compassionate presence. And that's what we're looking to do in this practice. And it's not easy because you can find yourself in emotional situations with animals often, especially as an animal Reiki practitioner. Because why do people call you? Because something's wrong. This happens to me all the time. I get texts from people, I get emails from people, and it's never like, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a nice day. It's always like, oh my God, my dog is lost, or my cat has a bump and is getting a scan, or, you know, something happened, right? So as an empath, it's very easy to be like, and really getting off the rails emotionally with that because we empathize and care so deeply, right? So, this practice, before we find ourselves going off the rails into the emotion, we remember my purpose is to hold this space of compassion, of open hearted compassion. Sometimes I call it the all is well space. All is well. All is well. That's my purpose. So then I can use this breath, breathing in the light, focusing on my grounding, radiating that light as a beautiful sanctuary of peace, love, and compassion for the animals who need me. So that is our higher purpose that helps us overcome those emotional situations. But how do we overcome them? Sometimes thinking, I'm going to overcome this is not enough. What do we need to do? We have to practice our meditation every day. So don't wait until everything happens and you're in a crisis situation with an animal. Practice today in your nice, calm moment. Practice tomorrow in a nice, calm moment. Practice the next day. And then when you find yourself stepping into your shelter where you volunteer and that day is, a big animal rescue and it's all chaotic, you're drawing upon all of that experience and practice to stay connected to that space of peace and calm that you've been building on your own every single day. So that inner stability that you've been building helps you get through more easily whatever you have to face with animals. So a few other things I want to say about grounding ourselves in compassion. It means that we have to let go of the past and let go of the sadness and let go of the suffering that we know about. We have to let go of the past and instead be present with the animal right here and now. What about the future? Oh no, are they going to get adopted or are they going to get better or whatever? We must let go of the future as well. And because it's taking us away from this moment with the animal, and that's all we have is this moment. So we want to make the most of this moment with this animal and know what an honor and a gift it is to be here with them in this moment. We honor them in this moment. We see them in this moment, and we rise above the struggle to say, I see your heart, your light, your spirit, and all is well. Sounds good, right? So, what do you think? You guys want to practice this? You guys want to try this? Let's create a compassionate space together in this moment. Okay. So, let's go into Gasho, which is palms together. And this is a great way to begin and end any meditation practice. And let's take a moment to set our intention. Let's dedicate all the energy of this practice tonight to our animals, or to whatever animals are on your mind and heart tonight. Maybe there are even some people on your mind and heart tonight. Let's dedicate this to them, whoever is in your mind and heart. Maybe your animals are with you physically. That's wonderful. But maybe we're just bringing them to our heart. That's also wonderful. Actually, in energy, there's no difference between those two things, whether they're with us or just in our heart. It's the same. So we invite them to share the space of this meditation with us tonight. And now we're going to rest our hands on our lap, and I'm going to walk you through this breathing technique as a way to create a sanctuary of compassion for the animals in your energy. Okay. So visualizing your breath as a pure and clear light. As you breathe in, imagine it comes in through the crown and fills your body with light, moving all the way down to the hara. And then as you exhale, imagine that light expands out of your skin, into your aura, all around you, like this bubble of light, and out into the universe. So breathing in the light, filling your body, connecting to the lower belly. Breathing out, allowing that light to softly radiate from you. And breathing in the light, and breathing out, expanding that light gently, softly. Breathing in and breathing out. Focus on the light. And you will slowly find your rhythm with the breath. At first, it can feel difficult to get all of that visual in with one inhale and all of that visual out with one exhale. But it will sink the more you practice it, and it'll become natural, second nature. So do a few of those breaths at your own pace. Imagine your breath is a pure and clear light, filling your body on the inhale and radiating gently from your body as you exhale. Focus on the breath and the light. If you feel distracted thoughts, just let them float by like clouds. Say, I see you and goodbye, and go back to the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And then relax your breath. Just breathe normally. And I want you to imagine that you're sitting in this beautiful space of light that you just created, that visualization. And this light is filled with peacefulness, perfect balance, harmony, compassion, and this beautiful feeling that all is well. And your animals are very sensitive. And so imagine when they look at you, they can see this light radiating from you. They can sense the positive energy from that. And that message that all is well feels so good to them, whatever they may be dealing with. Oh, it's such a relief. All is well. And so we just simply invite our animals into this space in this moment. It's completely up to them. We let go of our expectations. Nothing to do, nothing to fix. Just be the light, that light of compassion in this moment. And you may find your mind wandering or worries come in or overthinking. All of this is normal. If that happens, you can just do a few more Hara breaths. Just imagine there are clouds floating away and do a few more of those breaths in and out just to bring yourself back. And then again, sitting in that space of light. And then bringing our hands back into Gasho. And just take a moment to thank your animals. However they chose to connect in this moment was just perfect. And then setting our intention to finish, take a nice deep breath and slowly come back and open your eyes. So, in order to cultivate a calm presence with compassion, we want to create a calm, healing presence that animals can trust. We want an energy that is stable, that can help us meet even the most difficult situations with strength. And through our Animal Reiki practice, we not only help animals feel safe and supported, but we also deepen our own inner peace. And the more that we can embody compassion, the more powerfully we can serve as a source of healing in the world. And I wish that for each and every one of you today. All right. So before we finish tonight, in case there are any comments or questions or sharing about tonight's topic or anything Animal Reiki related, I will open it up. Anyone wants to share?
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, Kathy.
Um, I put it in the chat, but I just wanted to repeat it again. And I think I heard you correctly when you said that, our higher purpose, or I'm thinking my higher purpose, is holding that compassionate space. And, you know, you may have said it before and I missed it, but it hit home tonight. So thank you for just going through the teachings and presenting it in many different ways. And for me, on some points, just getting it where I might have missed it before. So thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad it was helpful. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody. I hope this has been helpful. And I will post this up on my YouTube channel, so feel free to comment beneath this video if this has been helpful or any experiences of compassion with your animals that you would like to share. And I wish you a beautiful month of July filled with Animal Reiki, love, and light. And I'll see you guys next time. So blessings, everybody. Take care. Bye.